Scientific notation. So scientific notation is a mathematical expression used to represent a decimal number between 1 and, I'm going to say, because you can, some people say to 9 multiplied by 10, so you can write large numbers using less decimals. And I'll explain in class why I say 9. Because if it's 10, what they mean is that the decimal can be 1 or greater than. It can be bigger than 1 or equal to 1, and then bigger all the way up to all the way up to 10, but not including 10. So really it's just because if it's 9.9999, that's not 10, but that's in scientific notation. So it's just a lot easier to say that first digit has to be a 9. So I say between 1 and 9. So please change that. So what I have is, this is your coefficient between 1 and 9. A positive exponent is a number greater than 1, and a negative exponent is a number between 0 and 1. And the negative or positive of the leading term has nothing to do with the exponent. The exponent is representing the place value. So the tens, the hundreds, the thousands, and it could represent the tenths, the hundredths, 10,000ths, etc. Next page. Normal numbers bigger than 1 or large numbers always have a positive power of 10. So basically, as long as it's not a decimal, because we also want to acknowledge that we have a negative 6.2 times 10 to the first, that would be a negative 62. And we have a negative 1.496, that would be a negative whatever that is. What they mean by a positive exponent here means that the number would start with 0 point something, and it could be negative or positive. So with that said, a positive exponent means you're moving the decimal to the right that many times. So this is 1.46 or 1.496 times 10 to the 8th means I move the decimal point from here back 8 times. So it's here now. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which means wherever there's little loops and nothing there, you put zeros in. So they're place values. They're placeholders. Values smaller than 1, usually decimal values, always have a negative power of 10. So 2.31 times 10 to the negative third means I have to move my decimal 3 points or 3 places left. So if it's right here, it's going to go 1, 2, 3. So my number is going to be less than 1. Here we have 6.234 to the negative first, so I'm just moving it 1 place back. So it moves from in front of the 6 to behind the 6. Again, a decimal number, a negative exponent. The power of 10 usually gives us key information about how many places to move the decimal point to make new numbers, or to make number values. So that's what we were talking about here, where we have 2.31 3, 1 into the negative third means we're going to move it back 3 places. So that means here it was 1, 2, 3 decimal points right here. I got to put 2 zeros here. Well, 0.00231. Scientific notation to numbers. So scientific notation involves moving decimals. Because the exponent is a positive 4, so because this is positive, we need to move it to the right 4 places. Because I need my number to be bigger than 1. Because it's positive, it can't start with 0 point. So then I have to add in zeros to fill any empty gaps. So right here is a 0, here is a 0, here. So then I rewrite the number. That's the important part. Many people forget. You must rewrite the number. It's not enough to do this because some of you don't put the decimal point at the end and make it seem that you went from here to here. So it's just easier to rewrite the number and remember groups of 3, get a comma. Okay, because this exponent is negative, we have to move it to the left. So negative and left. So I go back 1, 2, 3, 4. So 0.00058. So rewrite the number. Numbers into scientific notation. Well, I look at the number and it's bigger than 1. So I know my exponent's going to be positive. I have to move the decimal point to the left to create a number between 1 and 9. So this number, I can't, here, if I move it over 1, I turn 15,000 into 1,500. Now it's 150. Now it's 15. Now it's 1.5. So when I count, I had to go 1, 2, 3, 4 places. So that's how I know my exponent's going to be 4. And the 1.5 is my leading term. So it's 1.5 times 10 to the 4th. With decimals, the same rules apply. The number is a decimal less than 1, so the exponent will be negative. A lot of times I go right to the bottom and I'll go 10 times 10 to the, well, first thing I figure, it's going to be a negative. So I set myself up. Then I need to move it to the first, move it right to create a number between 1 and 9. Well, this is still 0.043, 0.43, 4.3. So it needs to go right there between the 4 and the 3. So that becomes our leading term. And then these zeros just go away. So remove the zeros that are not needed. We move 3 places, so the power of 10 is 3, negative 3.